Ciprian Popoviciu from the East California University. And as Ali showed already, it's an integration of data interoperability between data silos. But now what Ciprian will show us and introduce us is how we collaborate from a city perspective and university perspective and other organizations, how we leverage more synergies when we are talking about LoRaWAN, IoT use cases, and how we win much more for all of us. Ciprian, it's your stage.
Thank you. All right, good morning. Thanks for giving me your time to listen to my presentation. So what I'm going to talk about is how do we expand the reach of what we are talking about here every day, right, about LoRaWAN. How do we expand this reach into serving communities in general, serving research, serving education? We all know that there's a lot about education. We need to educate people about what's possible. But how do we get them involved? This is what this presentation is going to be about. And we'll walk through what we have done to make this happen. So I'm from East Carolina University. Just a quick background, just so you know where I'm coming from. I worked in the industry for many years. I worked for Cisco. I had 2 startups that I exited from. Part of the board of advisors for this university, and they kind of asked me, hey, would you like to give a shot at teaching? So I started to work on teaching, on my teaching career, if you would, pretty not too long ago, in 2019. But I still have that mindset of an entrepreneur and the idea of building operational, scalable solutions. So when I joined, I actually asked around, right, the researchers. I asked them, what are some of the problems that you have? And one of the problems that many of them have is the fact that they like data. They like to know how to collect data. They would love to have it real time, and they would love to massage it and find something out of it or do something with it. They really do not care how the data gets from the sensor all the way to the back end. And now what you see out there is this balkanized infrastructure where you have all kind of ideas that are suboptimal in any way, shape, or form you can think of. Cost, technology, et cetera. So my pitch was, all right, let's build a platform that is going to enable you to not worry about collecting the data and then having fun with it. So this was the premise of our platform, right? The idea was, let's get started as a community. We build a platform where it's going to be easy to deploy sensors, easy to manage them, easy to collect the data, and provide you with a set of tools to also play with that data. Now, none of the people that I talked to knew about LoRaWAN. So I sort of quietly snuck it underneath, because they really don't care. It could be a string, a rope between the sensors and the back end, if you would. So we started to build this platform, but we started to build this platform around 4 particular workflows. So the premise of the architecture was to support these workflows. First, you bring your own sensor. It doesn't have to be network connected. You just bring it along. So we built our own interface. We call it communication shim that has some computational power for edge computing that allows us to integrate any sensor into the LoRaWAN. The second use case is there is a huge ecosystem out there of people making amazing products, amazing sensors, already LoRaWAN enabled. Go get them. Again, this is a whole new world for the people that we talk to that have no idea it existed, and now they are sucked into this black hole of all these products that they are so excited to try out. The third use case was, you do not like LoRaWAN? No problem. We can accommodate something else. So we we put the infrastructure in place to take real-time data in and combine it with your LoRaWAN data, collected data. And then finally, you have some bulk data set that you want to use for correlation and analysis. You can upload that as well. So we did go ahead and build this whole infrastructure, multiple layer. Think of it making our own stack, if you would. I don't like to reinvent the wheel, so I used various components here that are already very, very powerful. You know, a lot of you I've seen already in the demos out there on the marketplace. We use Grafana, we use InfluxDB because that's what I use in my product that I sold when I built it. So we built this architecture to meet those four workflows, those four use cases. So let's see where we went from here, right? I'm happy to talk to you about our architecture. I'm happy to tell you more offline about how things looked from that perspective. But what I find interesting is to see how LoRaWAN can change perspectives. So we started with, if you look at this on this map, you have Eastern North Carolina. You have the purple bubbles are active gateways. We started with the two in the center, which are on the East Carolina University campus. And the idea was that those two gateways will enable what I call campus as a lab, right? One footprint that allows researchers and educators to build labs, do experiments easily. But then we have another campus on the coast. It's called the Coastal Studies Institute. We put a gateway there because they have a lot of projects that they want to build and develop on coast-related research. That was one of the most exciting pieces in terms of infrastructure deployment because we got about 15 miles, 14, 15 miles in range for the gateway, and all of a sudden the community interested in this went from local cities to offshore energy generation to fisheries to all these other groups that all of a sudden were sort of dragged into this support. And then we have a lot of interest and funding to actually do research and develop solutions for measuring salinity, managing water across that river, the Tar River. So the blue gateways are the ones that we are now already purchased. We are in the process of rolling them out. We also see all the way to that little lake there called Lake Matamesquite. This region is very interesting in terms of managing a swampy area, if you would. But we build this because we build this in a way that it's operational. We want to make sure that our users are trusting this infrastructure. So we have our NOC. We have a mobile app that we built in order to make sure that we can have students or anybody go in the field and actually deploy sensors very easily. Now, let's talk about a few projects that sprung up on top of this. We have several groups. We have water management solutions that are being developed, air quality monitoring, salinity monitoring, smart agriculture. What I find particularly interesting, and I think this is one of the messages for us in the Alliance, for us who are interested in LoRa. When people realize what's possible, you just open the floodgates. We are barely hanging in there trying to meet the demand. Because when they see what's possible in terms of range and communications with LoRaWAN, and when they realize the cost of sensors, which are 1 or 2 orders of magnitude lower than what they are used with, you completely change the way people think about solutions. Researchers think about research. Communities think about solving their own problems. They just need to know about it. You just need to give them a platform, a place where they can start building these things out. I'll give you 2 examples. We obviously have a little bit of an uphill battle to convince these people that have been using $1,000, $10,000 sensors that they can build something meaningful with what we have today in the market. So we do a lot of work. One of our areas of investigation is comparing low-cost sensors, our sensors, with what they are used with. This is an example where we compared a low-cost sensor with a significantly higher cost sensor. We showed the data blindly in a blind way to the researchers and asked them to choose. They chose the low-cost sensor. Now, once that's done, what that check mark is, it's checked, right? The checkbox is checked. Now, you already have them moving into a whole new way of thinking. And so now, this is by the way, this is a map of next to our campus. There is a creek there that it's creating amazing or incredible damage when it floods. It's a nasty little thing. So when they try to sort of monitor it, model it, and so on with these expensive sensors with a certain level of success. But now, what they want to do is they want to really instrument, high density, this creek, with everything that is possible, from rain gauges to water levels to water quality and so on, because there isn't financially it's possible, but also the data can lead to significantly more accurate and more interesting models. The power of these platforms, obviously, is not just the collection of data. That's just the first thing. We all know data is cheap. What's really valuable is the insight and what you do with that insight. So the next stage in this is what we did is to enable folks who want to build solutions, to enable them to do workflow automation. For example, what the solution does right now, if it starts to rain, trigger some thresholds, our sensors are automatically starting to pull a lot more faster, so we can really profile the waves, and we can see the wave actually traveling down the stream, and then turn on other safety mechanisms, from alerting to turning off some gates in order to actually deal with that particular event. Another example is air quality. We are working with researchers that are focused on air quality. That box there has 9 low-cost sensors of different types that we are evaluating against a $10,000 sensor. A $10,000 sensor versus $20 sensor. What is very exciting is that once you have sensors on LoRaWAN, collecting data in real time with a little bit of redundancy and a little bit of modeling using machine learning, you can actually self-correct these sensors in real time to where now you really can build a very feasible solution for a city that does not have a lot of funding. And so we are actually comparing this with other external services to see how well they perform. But the results are very encouraging. OK, so oops, went back. So let's talk a little bit about the community. Because once you have the LoRa footprint in place, there are so many stakeholders that can come into the picture. Once our first 2 gateways were in place, we had the campus as a lab. So of course, our university community was there. But now the city was, to a great extent, covered. And then we invited the city to come over and talk to us, see what we can do together. What we've learned from engaging with the community is that they want to do innovative things. Yes, they are bogged down by day-to-day, but they have vision. They understand there is much more possible. They just need the help to get there. So they have to face insufficient funding. They have to deal with their limitations on resources. They have little knowledge, and sometimes a little buy-in from their own community because there is no clear understanding of what's possible. So the idea is, what if we, universities, on a LoRaWAN platform, can now work with these communities to help them actually become much more efficient and improve their quality of life by working together. So what does this LoRaWAN platform bring together? Well, of course, now we have the hammer. We're looking for nails. But we have the resources to do it. We have students that can work on projects. We have expertise on the technology side. We have subject matter experts on specific verticals: air quality, water quality, traffic management, safety, et cetera. And so now we can instrument, collect data, analyze it, and provide the end-to-end solution. So we started to reach out. We are looking at, we are engaging with the city of Greenville, where the university is, the larger county, and other communities, the airport, and other communities spreading out in Eastern North Carolina. Eastern North Carolina is a very rural area, but there is a lot going on there. What we need to do is we need to enable these communities to have an easy way to take advantage of these LoRa deployments. So now I have several meetings that are lined up with various farming communities and the local state agencies that are incentivizing them to become more technologically advanced. And we are going to start expanding the LoRa footprint across Eastern North Carolina to support not only all the initial research projects, but also the smart agriculture solution that our subject matter experts are working on. So I'm going to just have 2 more slides on opportunities, at least from where I stand. I think, based on what we've learned on this relatively young project, what we've learned is that there is a very clear need there out there in the world. To make it very easy for people to really understand what LoRaWAN can provide and understand how they can use it to their own benefit. Of course, the more fully packaged the solutions, the better. So everything from from easy provisioning to easy understanding of data and customized data visualization. All that has to be included. But also, I think what is going to be very valuable is that once we get people in the local communities to decide where from data should be collected, where sensors should be deployed, what are their concerns, we need to back that up with subject matter experts that they can talk to, they can consult to also learn more. So this is where we envision this project to go. Last but not least, education. We need to get the word out there to the younger generation. By the way, this is how I'm hiring my team. I have hackathons where I give students sensors that are LoRa-enabled or not. I get them to put them on a LoRa infrastructure. The team that does it the fastest wins, and put together solutions that address specific requests that came from the community. And with that, I'm open for questions. The call to action from me for our project is we are a university. We are always looking for partners to help us kind of fulfill this mission, bringing these communities together with academia to actually use LoRaWAN. Deploy it, make it applicable to their own environment.
Thank you for that. So some insight on, at the communities level, influencers, decision makers, what doors need to be knocked at, and how did you go about it, and how do you recommend others go about that?
Perfect. It's an excellent question. I've been part of another, technology transition, and I've seen how difficult it is with some new technologies to actually get into the mindset of the decision makers. What I was extremely surprised by was how responsive the top leadership was to the opportunity to actually improve their lives and the lives of their community. So when we had the footprint and we said, all right, let's go and reach out, and we reached out to the city, to the county, to state agencies, to federal agencies, the response was actually way above what I expected. We had the city managers, the county managers, all of them, they came on site with their own teams to learn and understand what's possible. And the next step from that was, great. You're interested. We are interested. Let's find a way to work together. Give us a list of projects and ideas, problems that are burning, that you want to have solved. Got a list of prioritized opportunities, and then we start to match subject matter experts on top of the LoRaWAN platform with the community to start to figure out the solution. Yes?
Really awesome. Do you have any type of governance model, like recurring, like symposiums or consortiums?
Yes. So this is an excellent question. This is what happens when you're successful faster than you actually hoped or planned for, right? So we are actually trying to figure out how to operate this infrastructure. We built it to be easy to operate as a service. But now, financially, we want to see how that is going to work because we are a nonprofit, right? What we see, though, is we see that these communities are underserved communities, right? These people do not have millions of dollars. They do not have grants. They do not have a lot of resources. But they are very happy to band together and support this type of initiatives in order to together benefit. So we are exploring that. We'd love to stay in touch, and I'll keep you posted on how we progress, or maybe next year we can talk about that.